you ever wondered why some people lead boldly, others inspire with vision, some people just build really deep connection, and other people bring clarity and strategy? And why one of those might feel really natural to you and others feel super uncomfortable? Well, we have created something that we call the Divine Design Archetypes. And these are 4 different archetypes that help you understand how you are naturally wired to lead, market, and sell. And this is what we're going to get into today, and I am so excited. Welcome to the Live Your Yes Life podcast. This is a space where we help entrepreneurs go from dreaming and wishing to actually being in action towards the life that they most want, what we call your yes life. We have a book by the same name that you can check out, and I have a really exciting update that I need to share with you before we dive into this episode today. So I want to tell you about something brand new that we are thrilled about. It is called the Live Your Yes Life Coaching Club. Okay, so friends, we used to have a free Facebook group that has now been shut down, but it has been upgraded to this private space that is not on Facebook anymore, and it is called the Live Your Yes Life Coaching Club. And let me just start with the part that people are really excited about, which is that this is lifetime support for a one-time payment. That's it, not a monthly charge, not even an annual renewal, a truly one-time payment that right now, when I'm recording this, this could go up in the future, but when I'm recording this, is just $97, okay? And we created this because we want to provide accessible coaching that meets you exactly where you're at in your business and your life. Whether you're someone who is getting curious about, okay, what are my next steps? Maybe you're working with an internal landscape of money blocks, or maybe you're someone that's looking for consistent, practical action to create momentum. The coaching club gives you access to coaching that will support you to show up, make decisions, and live the life that you are here to live. It is designed to be accessible, bite-sized, and supportive, a place where you can lean in, get coached, connect with others who think and dream like you, and keep you moving forward instead of spinning in circles. It's a lifetime access with a one-time payment because we want to meet you at whatever season in life you're in, and we know that folks go in and out of different seasons. So if you're ready to stop holding yourself back and start living the yes life that you are here to live, not someday, but right now, then go check out the Live Your Yes Life Coaching Club. There is a link somewhere near this video, and I'll just give it to you here for ease. We're at riseleadershipcircle.com/coaching-club, but there should be a link somewhere near wherever you're watching this. Thank you for that little commercial break. Now back to the 4 archetypes that help you lead, market, and sell according to your own divine design. So this is not something that there is a quiz. Let me share with you that there is a quiz. I will share the link to the quiz also in the show notes. So you can go ahead and take the quiz and find out, okay, what is my archetype? And this is not meant to be, it's not meant to be something that puts you into a box. Instead, the divine design archetypes, they work as a mirror. They reflect back to you your own unique design for how you move through the world, especially in business, when it comes to lead, marketing, and selling. How we have framed the divine design archetypes is it really centers around how people naturally prioritize different things, knowing that none of the ways that you prioritize these are good, bad, right, or wrong. It's just that we all have our own recipe, if you will, for what's most important to us, what we prioritize and what we focus on, and that reveals what our design is. And so the 4 things that we're looking at, what do we prioritize, are results, joy, feelings, and information. Okay, results, joy, feelings, and information. I know that all of us on some level care about all 4 of those things. We all want to have results, joy, feelings, and information. But the way that we show up to lead, market, and sell based on our prioritization of those, reveals what our natural archetype is. So if you think about it, the way that it works is that each archetype is representing a different driver of motivation and leadership. And again, none of the archetypes are better or worse or good or bad. They're all just different. They all just reveal what is your driver, your motivation for leadership. And there is no right design. Every design is very powerful when we own it. And what can happen is the time when we feel the most conflict within ourselves is when we're trying to be someone that we're not. Now, that being said, I'm going to talk about this in a little bit, but one of the keys with your archetype is that you want to be able to lean into your archetype and to know that this is the way that you move through the world, and also can use style flex. And that's a really important way for how you can actually use these archetypes. So once you take the quiz and you find out, okay, this is my archetype, you'll already start to thinking about, oh, and I know people who are this archetype and this one. And by being able to style flex is really what creates the most strength. So it's really a both and. Can I stand in my archetype, in my divine design, and also style flex and meet other people where they are? So let me give you a high-level overview of what the 4 divine design archetypes are. So the first one is trailblazer. And trailblazers really prioritize results. This is the thing that is super important to them. Trailblazers are often bold, they're motivative, they are disruptive in all of the right ways. They feel alive when they are challenging norms and creating new evidence for something else that's possible that we previously didn't see. Their natural energy, they're forward moving, they're initiating. Think of the name, they are trailblazers, okay? The next archetype are the visionaries. And what the visionaries prioritize is joy. Visionaries are the people that are big picture focused. They are inspiring. They care about transformation. They have the gift of anchoring possibility and future focused excitement. So they can take, I can see what's coming. I can see the excitement, and I can anchor that into me and then go out and spread it for others. And their natural energy is one of expansion and inspiration. The third divine design archetype are the connectors. Connectors really prioritize feelings. Connectors are warm, relational, they're very heart centered. Their gift is that they build emotional safety and deep relationships. And their natural energy is one of intimacy and belonging. And finally, we have the strategist divine design archetype. And what the strategists prioritize is information. They are smart, intentional, and strategic. And their gift is bringing clarity and grounded frameworks into whatever scenario or situation that they're in. Their natural energy is one of clarity and confidence. Okay, so when you take the quiz, which I hope that you will, so you can reveal, and already as you're hearing, you might be able to say, I think I have a sense of what my archetype is, but go ahead and take the quiz because it's fun. Why not? When you do that, I do want you to know that most of us are not just we don't just identify with one archetype. There is one that is going to lead. There's one that is, you just have this pull towards, that's really me. And some of you will say, gosh, I don't know, I resonate with all of them. And that's great too. You're not doing it wrong. But for many of us, there's going to be one that organically bubbles to the surface. And we're just like, when I'm just in my element, I'm really the trailblazer or the visionary or the connector or the strategist. But we all have the ability to style flex into any one of them. And it's important actually that we're able to do that. So again, it's the both and. We want to know what our archetype is, how we can really use that to show up in the world, to honor our own design, our own authenticity, and also be able to meet other people where they're at. So let's talk about why knowing your archetype really changes everything. There are 4 specific things that I want to share with you to show you how helpful this can be. So A, this will help you stop forcing yourself into misaligned strategies. Maybe you're the person that has seen somebody else, an expert, a strategist, someone else in your industry who's using a strategy that you can see is working. You can see they're getting great results. And when you try to implement that for yourself, you're like, this, I just can't. This just feels exhausting. It feels like it's depleting my energy. It is just not working for me. Even if you're following it step by step, you're doing your best to implement it, you can just tell that this is not the strategy for you. And that happens because we all have different divine designs. We have different archetypes. So that strategy worked for someone with a different archetype. But when you are trying to implement something that is just not natural for you, it is like rowing upstream. And we don't want to do that. So when you know what your archetype is, you're able to say, okay, if that strategy is not in alignment for me, I don't have to try it on. I don't have to pick it up. I can just let that be for someone else. It doesn't have to be for me. B, why you want to know your archetype is because it helps you lead in ways that feel natural and sustainable. And the key word here is really sustainability. When we are allowing ourselves to lead, market, and sell in ways that are natural, we can sustain those strategies for the long run. C, it helps us attract clients and opportunities with less resistance. And who doesn't want that? Who does not want it to be easier to bring in the people that we are most wanting to serve and make a difference for without our own inner resistance? And when we know what our archetype is, we can do that. And then D, it helps us create harmony instead of burnout. This goes back to the first point that I said of the misaligned strategy. When we are trying to do something that is not in alignment for us, we experience exhaustion and burnout. But when we know what our archetype is and we are using that as our guiding light, we're allowing ourselves to lean into that, then we have an overall experience of harmony. And that is really important. Something else that I want to call out is that abandoning ourselves never works. Okay, so as important as it is that we can style flex, that we can meet other people where they are, we must never abandon ourselves. And so when we know what our divine design is, what that allows us to do is stay true to ourselves and then stretch to meet someone else there. But we're not abandoning ourselves, and that's really important. So, like I said before, this is really all about harmony. It's not about locking yourself in a box or saying, oh, that's not me or I'm not like that. It is really important that it's the both and. So, true leadership is when we own our design, when we plant our flag in our archetype and say, this is how I show up in the world. And I can flex to meet people where they are. It is so important that we do not get dogmatic about it being one or the other. That we're not like, this is me and everyone else can just go on their merry way because this is me and this is how I do business. And also that we're not abandoning ourselves by trying to meet other people where they are, but that we're consistently doing both at the same time. It's so important. Okay, so when we are allowing ourselves to understand what our archetype is and how we can use that, what that allows us to do is communicate better, build teams, market with more resonance, and sell with more integrity. But it's imperative that you actually know what your archetype is and start spending some time understanding the strengths and the things to watch out for with your archetype. Because each archetype does have shadow energy. So, this is the concept of shadow energy. Here's what I mean by that. In your archetype, you have a well functioning expression, which means like when everything is on the up and up, you are using the gifts of your archetype in a way that serves you and serves others. But each archetype also has an under functioning and an over functioning expression. And this is when we are operating with, let's say, some of the challenges or the areas for growth are really leading the charge. So we're not operating in the highest expression. We're kind of, we've swung the pendulum a little too far. And we're either under functioning or over functioning. And it's kind of like we're off balance. We're not operating in the way that this archetype can really make the biggest difference. So, this is why not only are you going to want to take the quiz to understand what your archetype is, but I also want to share with you that I do have a low-cost workshop where you can learn in depth about each archetype, what the shadow energy is, and how to use it. Once you understand this, it's really going to give you the clarity of how you can use your specific archetype to lead, market, and sell. This has been such a game changer, not only for myself and for Lisa, but so many of our clients, because they have shared with us that they're like, okay, I finally feel like I have the freedom to go out and be me in the world. And I'm learning how I can communicate with somebody that is a different archetype than me so that my message is landing, so that I'm creating resonance and connection. And that makes all of the difference. So here's your next steps. I know that you heard all the archetypes and maybe you have a sense or an idea, but go take the quiz. It just takes a minute. Go take the quiz and find out what your archetype is. And I want to highly encourage you to take the workshop as well. That's me doing a deep dive on each of the archetypes and also speaking into the shadow energy of each archetype so you can make sure that you are in the well functioning expression instead of under functioning or over functioning. And one more time before I go, I want to remind you about our brand new Live Your Yes Life Coaching Club. This is accessible coaching that meets you where you're at. It is lifetime access to our club for a one-time payment. And right now, at the time of recording, that payment is just $97. So go check out the link. It's at riseleadershipcircle.com/coaching-club. And I'll see you in the coaching club and on our next podcast episode.